I was working on a cruise ship, so I was very young. I was like 20 or 21.
A cruise ship DJ.
A cruise ship DJ.
Shut up.
Fuck off. Okay,
No,
when you're
this is
21,
actually-
you will fuck anything. Another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back.
Ashley said I looked ugly today.
Oh, no, I literally didn't even say any of that.
It's the first time in 4 years you've ever looked at me and been like, you don't look good.
You guys, she's lying. Now she's an ugly liar. I'm kidding. I looked at you and I said, your hair looks so funny. It is matted down. It looks like you're wearing a wig or a toupee. It's matted to your head. You have these like baby hairs look like you glued them down. Why is it like that? Were you wearing a hat earlier?
See, she did call me ugly.
I'm wearing a hat right now.
It's 99 degrees outside. I got caught in the rain yesterday. It's been nothing but like 1,000 degrees and raining for days. I don't do well in these streets.
You have a great hairline. It's so low. It looks great. You're never going to need a hairline surgery, which is a thing.
It is?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more of it.
Then.
No, it was so funny. It was like, looked voluminous, but real flat. No, it is fucking hot, but I'm having a great day. Went to hot yoga today, back on my bullshit. Hot yoga when it's 90 degrees out. Took a car there.
Sounds bad.
We went to the dog cafe. The oxytocin is flowing.
We watched a dog take a piss on the floor. It's been so long since I watched an animal just piss all over the floor indoors somewhere.
That Frenchie walked in and just took a squat.
That girl was like, no.
It isn't like we go to Boris and Horton, the dog cafe in the East Village. You can be in there without masks if you're vaccinated. It was so nice, but it is so funny when a dog just flexes. They're like, I'm going to piss all over this place. And you hate when it's your dog. I was watching Azul like a hawk. I was like, don't you do it. You said something funny about crisp earlier. It was because I said I love saying shut up. And you said it's crisp. So I had like sent my video of Azul to my family because he like whatever. It was a cute thing for my family to see, kind of like something that my mom had said that he does. And I was like, look, he's doing it. And my brother goes, yo, give him some space, because I was kind of all up in his grill. Mm-hmm. And I go, shut up. Like I just was like rude. And he just wrote, ha ha ha. Like, just to shut up is so fun. Shut up.
No punctuation. That's where you got to go.
Yeah. Like, he was rude to me. Give him space. Shut up.
It's only second to just saying, oh. The other day, I told Ashley I was on my way and I'd pick her up and I was standing. She didn't respond. So I said, I'm standing outside your building. And she said, I already left.
Saying oh is like one of my favorite things. I've been doing that for years. Yeah, it's my Atlanta days. You picked it up for me. It's so perfect sometimes. There's nothing else to say. Oh.
I was like, I'm waiting at your apartment. You're like, I left.
But I was only 1 block away. But I was like, I'm not putting in any more steps in this heat. Okay, but we do have some announcements.
Just one.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
do you want to do it?
Okay, yeah. Guys, we're coming to Philly. So excited. July 16th and 17th. And then we're adding another show on the 17th. We're adding a late show. The original shows are almost probably sold out by now. They were close to selling out. There's only like single seats left. So we're adding a late show on the 17th, Saturday night in Philly. These shows were rescheduled, the first reschedule from 2020.
Yeah, they were in April of 2020.
Right. So remember, guys, back in March of 2020, when we were like, we refuse to reschedule Philly. We will see you in Philly. We were like, we will not. We will like storm the dead streets. Bodies.
Yeah. Under any circumstances, we not be there. I was like crying and
oh, it's so embarrassing. So these were the first reschedule. Like I didn't know that we were going to get to do these. I'm so excited. I just want to make that clear that these were almost already sold out anyway. We're not like secretively dropping shows. These were the originally scheduled shows that people bought tickets for April of 2020. So they're rescheduled for July and we're doing them at the Fillmore. We're so excited. So go get the tickets, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com, to this second show. I think it starts at 9:30 something.
9:30 or 10.
Late on Saturday night. Guys, the entertainment's booked.
Guys, we're back.
We're back.
We're opening the shows with, I don't want to say it.
We're not saying
just
it.
like a really amazing thing.
You guys are in for such a fucking treat. I cannot wait. Oh, I'm just like, I have chills even talking about it.
I'm so excited. If you guys have never been to a Girls Gotta Eat show, they are so much fun. It's just like the wildest, most fun comedy show. This will be our first like theater show since the pandemic. So I'm going to cry on stage just for a moment or two. And
keep it under control.
I always keep it under control, and then you start crying.
I know, yeah.
And then we're gonna try to start adding more shows in the fall and throughout the summer. We'll let you know, guys, obviously what we have planned, and then we have a newsletter you can sign up for on our website that we will always send you updates through that. So girlsgettypodcast.com. If you just give us your email, we will just send you updates on live shows. That's pretty much it.
And we are staying true to that. There was the first place where we announced the Philly shows were actually a go was in this newsletter. So we really want to always promise that the people that are signed up for the newsletter are going to get these announcements first. So we cannot recommend enough. We're going to start doing some more fun stuff in the newsletter probably. So yeah, sign up for it and let us slide into your inbox.
Yeah, sporadically.
Yeah, not all the time.
Okay, so it's my birthday this week. I'm excited. It's the 17th. We have really fun plans. So I say this every year, I'm not like a huge birthday person that's like, I need to celebrate for a week or a month. And I don't really care about gifts. I'd rather an experience. And you like kicked off this experience for me. You were like, what if we did like a boat or like a yacht for your birthday party?
Listen, that's not anything creative. It's my go-to. I'm a boat booker. All I do is book boats. I've been doing this for years. People are like, Ashley, can you plan an activity? I'm like, a boat. I'll start Googling. I crush it. That one time you didn't crush it. We're not going to talk about it, but I redeem myself.
Ashley rented a pontoon boat that was meant for rivers, and we took it out in Miami on the ocean. It was humiliating.
We were desperate. It was a holiday in Miami, and then I redeemed myself on the second time we did a boat trip.
Unbelievable.
But I thrive on boats. I love to plan stuff. So I kind of found this thing and then I turned it over to you. I was like, my work here is done.
It's a ship. It's not really a boat. It's a
huge.
Ship. And it's like kind of like if you guys have ever seen the episode of The Office on a boat.
What, the vibe?
Looks like that.
It looks like a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, it looks like that. There's neon lights.
Yeah.
There's a DJ and a photo booth. And I planned the menu today with them. I didn't even tell you.
Well, I got to talk to the DJ.
You got to talk to the DJ, but I planned the bar and the menu.
So connect me with the DJ.
I have to send them a playlist. They sent this huge thing for the bar and they were like, we have like 1,000 options. And I was like, rosé, white wine, tequila. We won't need anything else. But thank you. Just stock up on those things. There's obviously hummus and cheese and pigs in a blanket, coconut shrimp, chicken fingers.
I cannot wait.
I'm really excited. So it's going to be a lot of our friends, a lot of people that have obviously been on the show that we become friends with.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. So that's the 17th. I don't know what I'm telling you guys. You're not going to be there.
Find us on the seas. Catch me outside.
If you guys are on the East River on the 17th between 6:30 and 9:30, say what's up.
I'm so excited.
Gemini season is almost over, but almost all my favorite people are Geminis. Rob's a Gemini. Ashley's rolling her eyes. I have one Cancer friend, and it's you.
Is it really? I'm the only one?
I think you are the only one.
Well, my dad, my brother.
Yeah,
they're your
and
friends.
My dad. And my stepdad.
Your whole family?
Yeah, my whole family. Everybody else. All my really close friends are Aries and Gemini.
Well, and we have all those friends that are Libras. We have a lot of friends that are not like our best friends, but like second tier. Friends. And they all this birthday's in the same like 2-week period. And I think it's Libra.
If you are part of that group of people, just forget that we said this.
No, that's not an insult. You know where you stand.
I call them second tier.
I'm a second tier friend to a lot of people. First tier's top. You know, those people know who they are. You know who you are.
Well, I'm excited. This is a busy ass week for us. We have so many recordings this week. I don't know how we're going to survive, but next week is going to be great. We have Jared Freed coming back. We have some really cool fun stuff. But this week we have a great episode as well.
Yes. We collabed with LadyGang. I've always loved them and looked up to them. 3 women that host this podcast. And I remember when they had a show on E, I was like, this is fucking cool. Like they were pioneers in the female podcast space for sure. And we've been trying to get this together for months now. And we did a collab. We recorded their show as well, which will be out on Tuesday, July 6th. And they are our guests today. And Rayna and I were kind of like, how's this going to go with 5 women, trying to talk, but it's great. They're just so, I like miss them. I feel emotional. I like want to meet them in person. We had such a good time recording with them for 2 hours because we did 2 shows back to back and I love them. Keltie, Becca and Jac. They're just they're real. Like they were super open about, you guys will hear it, but we talked about friendships and boundaries and romantic relationships and our struggles and like being in this space. And they straight up asked us like, do you ever feel like you want to quit? And we were like, do you ever feel like you want to quit? Like just really honest, raw conversation. I loved it in the moment, but then when I was editing it back, I was like, this is awesome. And it's just, if you know them and they talk a lot about celeb stuff and we didn't really talk about that. We talked just more about honest, 5 women in their 30s on kind of similar career paths, just having a convo. And I hope you guys enjoy it.
Oh, that was nice what you said. I didn't know how this was going to go either, especially because you see people on TV and you're like, they're famous. They're not going to be like so yucking it up and like down to earth. They're not going to like give us a lot, but they were just like the most honest, fun.
Yeah, they're
great
very
people to talk to.
They're real.
Honest.
Yeah, they're really honest.
So we had a lot of fun with them. We hope you guys loved the interview, and then you can catch us on their show coming up.
Yes, and on their show, we talked more at length about this, but I will share it now that last week I talked about this hot Australian guy that had a motorcycle that I met in LA, and that's all we said about him. Didn't say his first name, even though I did know it. We didn't say it.
I didn't know you knew it then.
I did know it. I just was like, I just didn't come up. And of course, people found him based on those 3 things alone. I did say he looked like an older Paul Walker,
which he does.
And I got a lot of messages about it. We got some DMs on our account, some emails. Some people got it wrong, which I appreciate people searching, and like people sent me hot Australian guys with motorcycles. So I'm like, okay, I'll follow them. But like a few girls sent it and they got it right. And I'll just say, because this isn't like a private person, like he's an actor. I was like, of course he's a fucking actor. His name's Brett Tucker. I was like, of course he's an Australian actor. I think he's been on a bunch of shows in Australia, and I think he's on like some show that Shonda Rhimes does here in the States. I've never really seen him until I saw him at that party, but it was just so funny. I'm like, our listeners are the CIA, as we knew.
Unbelievable. You didn't hit them with how old he is. Which
I'll get to it.
Shook.
I'll get to it. But I have to say that I told Kate, she was with me when I met him. I was like, they found him. And she was like, how? I'm like, I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not either.
Like Kate was like, how, Ashley? She was like, I listened to it. All you said, he's Australian. He had a motorcycle. He kind of looked like Paul Walker. I'm like, that's all they need. That's all they need. And he is 49. Good for me.
I am
turning a corner.
I'm so proud of you.
I was so attracted to him. I have never been attracted to someone upwards of 50 years old. This isn't like a dig, but you guys know what I like. I am proud of myself.
You know why though?
Why?
Because an LA 49 is not like an LA 49 anywhere else. Those people, like your others.
Well, not LA, also not American.
Australian, not American,
rugged.
And from LA, all that sun. They take care of themselves. They eat better. I feel like I'm actually physically a lot healthier when I'm in LA because there's just always a million options to eat healthier.
Well, Australia too. Like Australia feels like an extension of LA a little bit, like in the best way. And when we were there, everyone is fit and attractive.
That's why.
Everyone looks like they're just glowing from the inside.
I'll date a 65-year-old from Sydney.
From Bondi. From Bondi Beach. No, but anyway, shout out to you guys for finding this guy. Again, like if this was some private person, I wouldn't say their name, but this is an actor. Maybe you guys want to watch his TV shows and don't tell him. Well,
whatever, dude. It's not like you blew the guy and then you talked about it.
It's not, I mean, he might have a girlfriend, he might have a wife. I don't really know. It's not, it's not like he hit on me or anything, but we talked about it on LadyGang. It was very funny, like a conversation with them. So listen for that. But anyway, shout out to you guys. And then one more update. Last week I talked about this guy on Hinge that his profile said he was into sub-dom stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, see what he has to say. And we did match, like I liked him back. So we matched. And this was when we were in LA, and he had messaged me, and his first message out of the gate was like, did you see what I'm into? Basically like, I'm here for one reason. Like, I think he said, hi, Ashley.
He said, beautiful. I'm not here to make friends.
He basically, I think he did say like, you're sexy or whatever. It was not, he opened with a compliment, but then I'm not here to make friends. Like, I'm here to dominate you. And are you too? And I saw it come through, and then I was like, let me sit on a response, but we were very busy. Like, that was a crazy day. Like, I remember at the end of that day, I was like, what happened today? We recorded 2 episodes, like we went to lunch, like whatever. It was so much going on. So I never actually responded I didn't get around to responding to it. And I was thinking about it, and I was planning on it, and then he unmatched me.
He unmatched
like
you?
He was like, I'm here for one thing, and if you don't respond in like a certain amount of time, I guess. I was like, I don't care, but I was like, that's pretty intense. Like, this guy wants one thing, and I didn't respond soon enough, and he's like, I'm out. For that reason, I'm out. It's interesting. I was talking with some friends of ours. I would like to do an episode on like more kink stuff and group sex and like all these apps and how you go have threesomes with people, that you find them and do throuple stuff and go to sex parties and go to orgies and do all these things. We want to tackle that. But I was talking with friends recently they have a friend who's really into that. She does all those apps, and it's interesting because there's apps for that. Like, I think one is called Field, like Feeld, and there's a few more. I think there's an app called like Kink or whatever. Like, maybe he's on those too, but I'm like, hey man, like there's apps for you. If you're really,
that is true.
It's fine to put that in your Hinge and you can find people that want that, but you're really on here for one reason and one reason only. Like I hope you're also exploring the apps that are designed for this.
Mm-hmm. You're right. But
Hinge feels so vanilla.
We always say like, you know, make a list of the things that are important. You go after those things. And he was like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
I'm unmatched. She's with Brett Tucker anyway. I could feel it.
I'm kidding. I just tell you this funny story about what happened last night. On my way home, I went to a party at our friend Emily's house. She did like a Russian feast in Brooklyn, and there was so much food. And so Melanie and I and our other friend walked. We're gonna walk to the train in Brooklyn, and it's like 10:45, 11 o'clock at night. We're walking towards the L, and to get from like Greenpoint to the L, we're gonna cut through this park. Melanie was like, "Let's cut through this park." We were like, "It feels a little scary." She's like, nothing's gonna happen. I was like, okay, it's like 10:45, 11 o'clock at night.
Nothing's gonna happen. They're never gonna know.
They're never gonna know. And I was like, okay, like maybe like some finger stuff though, or like, okay, we'll walk fast. We're walking through this pitch black park. Almost 11 o'clock at night, this guy comes running up behind us, like, and he's like bolts past us, and it scares the shit out of me. Like a man, like a fit man running past you in the middle of the night in the dark park. So I'm like, but he like looks like he's wearing like a uniform and he's running towards something. I'm like, where's this dude going? Like, where's so we like keep going down the path in the middle of the night. It's so dark. And then it's like, it looks like a mirage in the desert. We see the most brightly lit soccer field you have ever seen. And hundreds of men playing soccer.
No.
At 11 o'clock at night.
I love that for them.
In the middle of a park in Brooklyn in the middle of the night. Hundreds of men, all in uniforms, playing soccer, middle of the night, all lit up like a Christmas tree. It was so crazy. I was like, where did this come from? And then I had this like, I sort of like went to reach for my phone because I was gonna like do some kind of like disgusting Instagram story. And then it like occurred to me like, I can't do that stuff anymore. And it's so sad for me. And like, I had that thought and it was fleeting. And Melanie goes, are you gonna, oh my God, you can't do it anymore. And I was like, I had that same thought.
Wait, I love that this came up. First of all, like, I love that. I just, again, city that never sleeps. I mean, we've been sleeping for a minute with the pandemic, but like, it just, like, there's always those like night leagues. Like one of my guy friends, he dated a girl that would always be playing those nighttime soccer. And like sometimes in the coolest places, like under a bridge, like the scene was so cool.
Is that
like,
a thing?
I mean, people have jobs and then they want to play sports at night. And then also with the weather, you know, you need the sun to go down. So like a lot of people that do intramural recreational sports or whatever kind of need to start at like 9, 10 p.m.
Wait, I think you're right though, because it was 10:45. They could have started at 9. It could have been almost over.
Yeah, okay. For sure. This is so funny. I'm so glad you brought this up. We joked about this the other day. You had said that you want to talk about it? Your neighbor?
What did I say?
My
neighbor.
Your neighbor looked hot for once. And you had sent me a text of like, he looked hot. Like if I wasn't with somebody, I would consider it. Because I didn't see that text coming. Every time you text me about him, he looks ridiculous. So for you to say he looked hot, I was shook. And then you said you almost like sent it to your boyfriend because he's met him when he looked ridiculous. Yes. And I said to you, I was like, that's such a good sign when you're like buddies with the person you're dating, where you almost slip up and tell them about something of like, I flirted with this guy, or like I saw this hot guy. Like I've had those moments with a guy I used to date where we were so like friends, you know, and I would be like, oh my God, I just saw the hottest guy. Like I almost would be like, I would forget that it was my man.
I also like, I've always been the kind of girl that like, I want to check out other girls with my guy. Like I always like, as long as it's not, I don't want to watch my man check out other girls. I want my man to go, look at that girl's tits. And I want to be like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I want them to be open about it. And so I like did have that moment where like, the reason I wanted to tell him that my neighbor looked hot was because I wanted to be like, I swear to God, I don't fuck ugly people.
Right. Cause
like,
he saw him looking like
crazy.
a fucking hot mess.
Like a disaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I had to like, last night I had to like hang up my gross heels.
That is so funny. I can't be a predator anymore.
I want to be like, I would fuck every one of these things.
But I thought about it again today because Dylan commented on my post and he said like, okay, Ashley, with like some eyes, like hard eyes or like the eyes or whatever. And I was like, normally Rayna would have gone in there and be like, whatever, Dylan, like stop flirting with Ashley. And she can't. Her hands are tied. No, you can do whatever you want. Your man is great about that kind of stuff. He'd probably like it.
He doesn't care, but also like, yeah, I respect him.
Yeah, you respect him.
I think it's a nice balance of like, he honestly like wouldn't care, but like because he wouldn't care, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, you respect him, but that is so funny. Like a bunch of men playing sports and your natural inclination is to just start like being such a creep.
And our friend's natural inclination is like, why isn't Rayna being a creep? So it made me laugh. I was excited to tell you that.
Rayna's changed, you guys.
I know. Well,
I'll be back. Okay, and one more thing. We got an email today. Rayna has not read this.
Read the subject line. Scared the shit out of me.
The subject line. I said, don't read this email that has your name in the subject line. And she was like, I'm hot. What is this about? The subject line is, Rayna is the reason I have to file for divorce.
I was like, what is about to happen?
So this quick email, she writes in, this is at 12:13 p.m. today. She said, story for you girls. I met my then boyfriend, which I guess this is her husband now. So she said, I met my then boyfriend, his parents on Christmas 2020. Lots of wine, laughs, and his dad mentioned wanting a bidet. I immediately pulled up a link to Hello Tushy and said I knew a discount code, not going into details of why I was so informed on this brand. Fast forward to today, my now husband flew in to visit his family while I'm traveling for work. I sent him the below screenshot, which was an ad we did for Tushy. I sent him the below screenshot to my husband thinking it would be a funny joke. She said, guys, he just read the first line that said, tell your dad. And then he stopped reading and handed the phone to my serious, all respect and manners police officer of a father-in-law. So now I have to divorce my husband because I can never look my in-laws in the eye after admitting what I said in this thing. So she basically screenshotted Rayna's post, which was 69 day, 69. We did ads for Tushy. And she wrote over it. She did your picture and overlaid the copy. Yeah, Rayna's thing says, Tushies are on sale, yada, yada. Rayna's thing is not bad at all. She has a little peach emoji. It says 69 day, whatever. She wrote over it, tell your dad that today is National 69 Day and there's a sale on the bidets I mentioned at Christmas that I got a recommendation for from my BJ's and Butt Sex podcast. And her husband handed that to his father, who's a police officer and sounds pretty conservative. He just read tell your dad and hands the phone? And this man is holding a picture of Rayna. Holding a picture of Rayna, reading something that says, hey, it's National 69 Day. I listen to this BJ's and Butt Sex podcast.
Okay, do you think that guy's dad was proud of him? A little bit.
I also just
same-sex parents.
I also just feel like that guy's dad was like, who's this girl? Like, it's a picture of you.
How do I look? Listen, I look fly in that picture.
You look good.
A giant peach on the screen. That is so funny. And men are just like so funny.
It's just such a man thing to do, to read, tell your dad, and he just hands the phone to his dad without reading the rest of the context, not picking up that it says butt sex, BJ's, 69.
Men, there's just this giant box in their brain. There's a YouTube about it. You can watch it. Where there's just a giant box. There's just nothing in it. Men are like always in that box in their brain. And he just saw like show your dad and showed his dad. That is so funny. Beat my BJ's and Butt Sex podcast. You girl, you don't have to get divorced, but you're never going to Christmas again.
New working title, BJ's and Butt Sex. I think we're aging out of girls, if I'm being honest.
After these next couple birthdays, yeah.
At what point is it women who have to not eat as many calories as they used to? Okay, there was one more thing before we get into it today with our guests, about another guest we actually want to talk about. This is not, we're not trying to make this a big deal or whatever, but we did get a number of messages about this. So we just wanted to address it. It bothered us a little bit. And this is regarding our guest last week, which was Chelsea. And we just wanted to address something. It's not to stir up drama at all. We're not trying to turn our listeners against anyone. That's not what we're about. And this isn't really a dramatic thing, but it's just something that we felt the need to address and kind of in a way like defend ourselves and how we run our business and ultimately reiterate what we stand for when it comes to sex positivity. Honestly, do you want to kind of
pop off?
Okay, you want to continue?
You want me to give the details? I mean, ultimately what happened was we had scheduled an interview with Chelsea Handler. Her PR team actually reached out to us and asked if she could come on our show. We do the same thing with every guest. We confirm ahead of time. We send topics ahead of time. We had a studio rented. We always make sure everybody feels really super comfortable. We make it clear that these topics are negotiable, that if we ever ask something that they don't like, we'll edit it out. We went as far as to set up a Zoom so that her publicist could watch.
Yeah.
We were prepped, ready. I think that we always bring as much professionalism to the table as humanly possible.
Yeah. So, and we love talking to her. This is someone that we looked up to and we really admired. And we directed all you guys to her podcast last week. And then we started getting messages that said, did you listen to her podcast episode? I think she's talking about you girls. And basically the very beginning of this episode of her podcast, that was her new episode last week, she said she podcasted with two girls and basically describes our whole conversation and says that these girls made made her feel very uncomfortable by asking about her sex life. She said, I quote, "Who talks about that stuff?" She kind of had some things to say about women talking too much about masturbating and watching porn. And then before that, she said that she talked to these same girls about COVID in LA versus New York, which is something we discussed with her. So listen, pretty sure it's about us. We sent her team a note. They of course were like, "It's not about you. No one's gonna know."
Somebody else.
But there's a very slim chance to me that she talked to 2 other New York girls about COVID and then had the exact same conversation.
And there's no doubt in our listeners' minds if they listen to both episodes.
And so we've never had this happen before. We've never had a guest come on and then really build them up and then direct you guys to go listen to their podcast. And then you listen to an episode and it's saying negative stuff about us in the beginning of the episode. Like, we were really shocked by it. We were surprised by it. And I want to say that we never want to make people feel uncomfortable. Like Rayna said, that's not what we're about. Even before we started podcasting, I said, "Can we talk to you about sex?" And she said, "Yeah, of course." Like, an open book. Rayna and I always read the room on this stuff. Like, this is a woman that I always looked up to in the way she did talk so openly about sex and masturbation. It's in her new comedy. She has a book called My Horizontal Life. It's about one night stands. Like, so we thought she would be, but we still also asked. We asked in emails beforehand, and then I asked up front, "Are you good talking about sex? I'm not going to ask you anything crazy. Like, what's 50 Cent's dick like?" Like, I said those words exactly. Like, we're not going to get too personal with it, but are you cool talking about sex? Then we asked again in the episode, like, consent. Mm-hmm. We're not asking Elizabeth Warren about sex. We didn't ask Nedra Tawwab about sex because that's not what they talk about, and that wasn't what we were talking about. But we felt like it was fine. And this was someone that I always looked up to and how they did talk about sex. So it was kind of surprising to hear her talk about us when she could have said, like, "Could you take that part out?" Or she could have said no. Like, there were so many ways to go about this than kind of opening her podcast with saying things like that. So my take on it is, we never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. We've reflected on it. It's a bummer, honestly. And at the same time, like, let's just say there was a world where this isn't about us, I guess. I still am just kind of bothered by the language of like who talks about this stuff, and the tone of women are going too far with how they talk about masturbating and self-pleasure and porn. And I just disagree. And so we always want to promote sex positivity and open conversation around these topics. And of course, only discuss stuff you feel comfortable with, but you can express those boundaries to people too, because we don't stand by women shouldn't talk about this. Women are going too far. And we want you guys to not buy into a narrative like that. These topics should be openly discussed. That's what we do on this podcast. Who talks about that stuff? We do.
Yeah, she also said we made her whole vagina clench. Ashley's being so wonderful and PC. And
well, I don't want the point is not to drag anybody. Yeah, and we really don't want anybody going for it. Like, we're not, that's not what we're doing here. We got too many messages and I was like, I want to talk about this. And and it also, we're allowed to talk about this. It made us sound unprofessional.
Yeah. And you guys know, and if you've been listening to us for 3 weeks or 3.5 years, that we always lead with professionalism. We never want to have a gotcha moment with a guest. I think that if we behaved like that, you would know it. I think you'd see it in our reviews. You'd see it from other guests. We do nothing but want to uplift women and their message. And by the way, just because somebody talks about sex in their stand-up, in their books, doesn't mean that they owe it to us to talk about it. And so we do not think anybody owes that to us. If you want to control the narrative of what you say, totally fine. I don't think we have to tell you guys, we try to do everything with professionalism and respect. And we did that. And to be slammed within 2 minutes of a podcast that we directed people to from somebody that we said, we admire you and we're so happy you're here, and asked to come on our show. It's disappointing.
It was disappointing. It was a bummer. It was surprising. So again, this was just like, you guys are great. And we feel like we owe you this stuff. Like, that was a crazy thing that we would be like, go listen to this podcast. And then you open up the recent episode and you're like, wait a minute, what is happening here? Like, the messages I got, you guys were upset. You were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then we're like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, again, slim chance. Maybe it was about some other exactly the same podcast that talked about exactly the same thing, as well as COVID, which she also exaggerated a little bit. We weren't, whatever. We were comparing New York to LA and we were just making jokes. We didn't really, we take that with a grain of salt if you guys end up listening. But Rayna and I really always want our guests to look good. We want you guys to like them. I have had many an opportunity to leave stuff unedited where you guys would have hated guests. And I have kept it classy. Yeah. And we want you guys to like the show and like the guests. We never want our listeners to like drag someone else on our behalf, but we just felt we owed it to our listeners. And also just like, don't let people shame you. I don't want to use such a intense word like slut shaming, but it felt a little like,
I felt slut shamed.
Yeah. Like why'd you talk about this stuff? This like, masturbation and porn, like, ugh. What? Okay.
I'm not a sloppy person. I'm not a ridiculous person. I'm not spouting off about things that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not unprofessional. I think Ashley and I have earned the right to talk about things. I think anybody that has a vagina has a right to talk about what they do with their vagina. We're not sloppy, ridiculous people. And we've worked really hard to build a reputation amongst people in media and publishing. So we have a good reputation. We're not going to be told that we didn't do the right thing because we go out of our way to do the right thing.
Right. Go off.
All right, guys, we are so excited to welcome our guests for the day. They are the hosts of one of the most popular podcasts for women in the world, where they cover dating, breakups, parenthood, career, and social media. Their first book, Act Like a Lady, became an instant New York Times bestseller. Please welcome to the show the hosts of a LadyGang podcast, Keltie, Becca, and Jac.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
I like that you said in the world.
I know. I was like, in the world.
Well, it's
like,
on
actually,
your
we don't know.
website, so-
Yeah, I was like, she definitely pulled that from your website.
I mean, I wrote that on the website, so I decided that in the
we
world
love that.
Is an exaggeration. of
Keltie,
Keltie's
the way
mind.
she markets our podcast is the way that like places in New York City are like best English muffins. Like you just have to put a sign out like best bagels ever, and there's no truth to it. It's just like you can do whatever you want and say whatever you want about it.
And
Well,
sometimes she'll
that's-
tell us things, and I'm like, "Is this a lie or is this a truth?" I don't know.
When I brought Rayna to Delaware, I'm from Delaware. When I brought her for the first time, she was like, "Why is everything the best thing in the world?" Like we have like small state energy, like small dick energy. Like it's just everything. I never noticed it growing up there, and it literally says best liquor store in the world, best fried chicken in the world, and that's at a gas station. Like it's wild, and I never picked up on it. And Rayna was like, "This place is insane." We were sitting down, best brunch on the East Coast. Like everything has to be
Like
the
according
best.
to who?
I
The
felt
guy
like-
that made the restaurant?
I felt like I saw
It's
that
pretty
so
good.
much when I lived in New York. Like in the city, I felt like those signs were everywhere.
Go to Delaware. They best crab cake in the world is next to another restaurant that says best crab cake in the world. It's like now I don't know who to believe.
It's
You
like
know?
when Michael Scott goes to New York City and he goes to Sbarro or whatever, and he's like, because there's a sign that says best pizza. It's just so good.
Well, in
Sbarro.
my defense, like I'm from a town where the two things that make us famous are we have like the largest, now I don't even know if it's true, the largest like sausage in the world. And it's like literally like,
Ew.
and then the largest
this?
Ukrainian
Pennsylvania?
Easter egg, the Senka, Vegreville, Alberta, and Sherwood Park, Alberta. We have like there's just a giant fucking sausage, and people go, you know, that dinosaur on the way to Coachella?
Yeah.
Like everyone takes
The
pictures of that?
cabazon, yeah.
They have that in my town, but it's just a big sausage and people take pictures
Wow.
with it. So I feel
Love
like
that.
I am Delaware. Like I'm like,
Yes.
we
Best
have
in the world
best
energy.
sausage.
We had a
LadyGang
place
is-
that was like in my town that was like renowned. It was on the Food Network because they served muskrat, and it was like a thing. Like it's just like the stuff that small towns are known for. It's like low key.
They gotta have something though. You gotta like make your own way.
We always talk about like, you know, how you talk about yourself. And it's like, you have to tell people that you're successful, you're not, but, and I'm going to compliment you. This is not like an insult wrapped in a compliment or whatever, but there is a specific way to talk about yourself that lets people know like we are a big deal. And you validate that on your website with the number of downloads you guys have, you to show ID. You guys are a big fucking deal. So, you know, congrats on all your success. We're excited to collaborate with you on what you coined the, what should we coin it?
They already took both
Girls-
titles.
Girls Gotta
On
Gang.
our episode with Lady Gang, which we just recorded, they said ladies gotta eat and girls gotta gang. So obviously girls gotta gang is
the winner.
top. Yes.
Definitely
We're gonna
the
make a
winner.
new crop top for you guys. Becca won't wear it. That'll be too much skin for Becca to show.
I'll wear a turtleneck underneath.
There you go.
We're gonna make a girls
Put it
gotta
on a
gang
burlap
turtleneck.
sack and send it to you.
I love a Wolford turtleneck long sleeve bodysuit. So I'll just slide that underneath.
2 sizes too big.
Yes.
Just to be clear.
We'll send it with
Yes.
a winter coat. Well, you
Thank you.
guys have been podcasting for a long time. You're like podcasting royalty, and you've had shows and books. So maybe we could like catch people up on who you guys are, where you live, how you met. Are you married? Are you single?
well,
Anybody-
thanks for asking. We're the greatest podcast in the world, with the greatest hosts in the world, in the greatest cities in the world. So it's fabulous to be here.
Where are you? Well, we'll go in.
So
Like,
I'm-
where are you
so-
guys all coming from right
so-
now?
Yeah, I'm Keltie. I'm in LA. I'm not at my house right now. I'm at my friend's house because I'm renovating my house. And I'm a bad friend. And so, but yes, I'm originally from Canada and I'm the Charlotte of the group.
Love this. Let's do this.
What
sure.
makes you the Charlotte?
I'm anal retentive. Things have to be a certain way. And when they don't go that way, I stomp my feet and
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm deeply in therapy for all of my flaws. I'd like everyone to know that I'm working on it.
Oh my God. And
They
you're
will not
you're
be fixed
married.
by the end of this podcast. I'm married. My husband's in the music business and I've been married and we've been together 10 years and we have a dog named Callie.
Oh my God.
Happy 10 years.
And I have no friends and I hate being social. Okay, that's it. Becca?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay.
We're going to talk about your friendships after this.
Okay.
It's like these,
You
here
can be
they
like, I
are,
hate
the two
them.
friends.
It'll be a short conversation. I'm Becca. I just relocated to Austin, Texas.
Oh my God.
Okay.
From LA.
No income tax. Love it for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
No state income tax. You know,
You can buy a gun whenever.
you can
Abortion,
like
a little tricky.
tricky, very tricky. That was a real bummer to literally, I entered the state and they were like, great news, abortion. You can't get them.
You can get guns.
Yeah.
Guns.
Get guns.
I actually just saw a meme that was like, hey, Texas, you're so worried about the unborn children, but you're 50th in education in the country.
Yeah.
So,
Look, real correlation
Super.
there. Okay,
Well, we
sorry,
love
we're like
friends.
hijacking you.
Sorry, no,
continue
no.
to tell. We want to know what Sex and the City character you are. All the things.
yes. So I don't think I really fall under any category. Maybe I'm a Miranda because I'm a real, no one is claiming Miranda. Are you shocked?
We talk about this all
We
the
love her.
time.
Yeah.
She's successful,
Yeah.
independent.
Great.
We think that like they gave her an ugly haircut and everybody's like, I don't like Miranda.
Exactly. It's the haircut.
and bad clothes. They
And
gave
the
her
blazers.
they give her bad clothes. Bad clothes.
Yeah, they just like people just didn't think she was hot enough, so they just were like, we hate her. But she is probably the best one, probably the most normal one.
Yeah, she's like the least self-absorbed because let's be honest, Carrie, if you watch that,
Unbelievable.
she's unbelievable. She is the most self-absorbed person. I can't believe she has friends.
That's true.
I'm the Miranda a little bit because I'm a cynic. I'm not super glass half full. I'm going to be honest, half empty. Probably borderline depression, should be medicated, but I'm not. Still going strong. And I'm married. I've been with my husband. We've been married almost 5 years. We have a dog. We're getting another one. We have frozen embryos.
Okay.
So like 50% there with kids. And that's it.
Becca, I met you and your husband on $1 Million Listing when you guys were buying a house.
Wait, like in
I thought
person?
you meant
Like
like
on
in real
Bravo.
life.
Were you in the murder room?
I was like, Rayna, what? I don't know.
I was
this.
like, I don't normally forget people like that. I mean, okay, so you saw us.
I'm a big reality show TV stan. I love $1 Million Listing. I especially love the New York one because we live in New York. But yeah, I saw you on that show shopping for houses. So
Yes.
it's now I know
Yeah,
you
well-
don't live in that house anymore.
No, we fixed it.
She lived
and
in there
then-
for like 11 months. It was she didn't even make
Barely
over the
moved
murder
in.
room. The murder room sold as is.
Well, I just think like something with being in the house for that whole year during the pandemic, we fixed it up during the pandemic together. Like it was fun to give it a little facelift, but then we just felt like get us out of this fucking house because it had been, a year and we got very lucky and sold it. And then we just felt like we were going to come to Austin.
Well, Austin
good
is
to-
fantastic and sunny. We love it. And we know a lot of people that have recently relocated there.
And you're the actress of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any?
She's very humble. She's a brand new show on Disney Plus, Turner and Hooch, and she plays Brooke, and Brooke's a fucking
Wait, is it out now?
She's not a
She
bitch.
wears pearls.
We were
She
just
wears
talking about
pearls
this.
and she wears what are they called? Pantyhose.
Oh, those are
Yes.
bitches. Pantyhose, pearl combo, huge bitch.
Wait, is it out
Is it-
now? We were just talking about Disney Plus.
It's out in July. Disney Plus is they're hitting their stride with.
yeah. We need
Their
to. I'm just what I told Ray last night. I was like, what am I doing? I like make money. Why am I like not getting
You can
this?
use
Because there's
mine.
multiple
Not paying
things
like
I
the
want to
$6
watch.
a month.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, Jac.
I'm Jack. I live in Marina Del Rey, which is basically like living in Austin because nobody wants to come to the West Side ever, except for you guys that I guess you went on a boat over
We were there
here.
on Sunday.
We have we met this girl that she lives on a boat.
Oh,
Hot.
Yeah. So I live in an apartment with my boyfriend, 800 square foot apartment. We've been stuck in here since the pandemic began. We're on top of each other all the time. He's literally 10 feet away from me because we don't have any room. And we've been together for 3 years, hopefully getting engaged sometime soon. And I am the Sex and the City character that doesn't watch Sex and the City. So I have no fucking idea.
So never got into it.
No, I've watched every Seinfeld episode ever.
What character are you on Seinfeld then?
A Jerry.
Okay.
She's a Kramer for sure.
I'm definitely not a Kramer. I'm a Jerry because like I just don't really,
Kramer.
I don't give a shit, and drama kind of surrounds me, but I never am involved in it.
Really? How are you? Okay, I'm very curious about people like that. It's around you, but you're not involved in it. So you're Switzerland. You're like a passive observer of drama.
Well, that's just how I've always I've never really dabbled in it myself, but I will drink all the fucking tea. I want to know every single detail what is happening in everybody's life, but I never really directly involved in it.
That's how I feel. I always say that. I love other people's drama, like any drama.
Yes.
But how do you not get invested? Like, I can't hear about drama and like not become emotionally invested in it.
I am invested.
Invested and involved. Very different. I will be invested all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Involved is tough. It is tough when you two friends that don't like each other, or you're on a group chat and both people are talking shit to you separately from the group chat. Girls trips can be tough. So I don't love being in the middle of it, but I'll sit around and listen. I'll listen all day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I get very emotionally invested. And honestly, the more menial and innocuous kind of shit, I'm like, yes, give me all of the boring bullshit, because it ends up being the more interesting than like a big blowout.
Well, do you guys ever read The Cut? Like they have their categories called niche drama, which is just like, those are always my favorite articles when it's filed under niche drama, because it's like some influencer thing. Like it's just so, I live for it. I will follow it. And then I'm just like upset if I can't get like more updates. I'm like, I need more.
I follow like all these accounts of like TikTok drama. I'm like, I don't even care about who these kids are, but I want to know every little thing that is happening in their life.
Same.
Well, we want to talk about friendship. We know this is a dating relationship podcast, but friends are in a relationship with you. And you guys have worked together for a long time. You live in different cities now, and you've kept this business going. And I think people are always curious how Ashley and I worked together for all these years, because there's this whole, people always say like women can't work together. And it's like, shut up. So we would love to hear about like your friendship and how you guys keep it going. And if you want to like start, I'm not sure how you guys met, and like where it's gone, how you guys like stay in touch.
Go ahead, Keltie.
Jack and I dated the same guy. That's how it all began.
We have a mutual ex-boyfriend. Keltie dated him after me. She took my sloppy seconds.
And then Jack went back to him and thought that we were still together. So she's a hoe. And
I love this
but
origin story.
This is an origin story. So that's how I knew Jack. But Becca was on Broadway, and I was trying to be on Broadway for like a very long time. And she would always like get the audition. Like we would always be in the auditions together. Like we'd make it past the dance call, and then it would be singing call. And I would be like, cry. And then Becca would be like, ha, ha, ha. And she would always like move forward, and I would be crying in the hallway. So we knew each
really
other.
Bad
like,
hair extensions at this time too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have bad hair extensions or just me?
No, you did. Keltie was like she did this whole she likes to jump on a trend. Let's just say that. She was one of the first people to buy a clip-on bang. But she gets to the trend before it's really been finessed.
Yes.
So she was like the first girl to have hair extensions. Yes, the pioneer. And unfortunately, it's like
someone has to fuck it up before they figure out how to do it right.
And it's also trends that never actually end up becoming trends sometimes. Like for one of her red carpets, she wore a top hat and a tutu. I don't know if that ever became like
funny.
A trend.
Vogue said the hat of the season was a top hat. Just saying.
I respect the attempts though. Thank you. Someone has to do it.
And you know what? I fail and I just giggle. Like I wore a clip-on bang at Miss Universe like 2 weeks ago. It was iconically horrific. And I bought like 8 clip-on bangs on Amazon. I brought the 2 that matched my hair color the best. None of them matched. And I was like, to the guy who was from Columbia, I was like, put this in my fucking head. And he was like, okay, I don't think this is a good idea.
Like, you're not going to like it.
Dying to see photos of it.
Yeah. And then I hated it. And with the terrible dress that was
photos.
I'll pull it up.
That's it. What is happening? What? This looks like a Halloween costume.
Great.
Like
I tried to do.
and
Those
it's
are
like an
tattooed. You
updo.
can't fuck them up.
I tried to do the Zendaya Emmy Award winning hair.
I love it when like a 40-year-old white woman takes a picture of Zendaya to their fucking hairstylist or makeup artist.
when the 40-year-old white woman does it, it makes them look 75.
They're like, I'm sorry.
That is so funny. I wasn't picturing that. I was picturing like a straight kind of.
No, it's like, and then she like flipped all of her hair into the front as well
She
to
always
add to the
goes-
bang.
She goes one step too far.
Extreme.
Like,
Extreme.
anyway,
so
she took
friendship.
a step too far.
So Becca and I knew each other, and I was working on CBS Entertainment Tonight, or at the Insider at the time. And Becca had just finished Glee, and we were at the 101 Cafe, and we were like eating salads, and we were sad, and we were like, oh my God. I was like, I'm going to get fired. And Becca was like, I'm never going to get hired again. And we had this like kind of meeting of like the sadness of Hollywood. And we were like, we should do something together. And I was like, we need a talk show. And they were like, wait, no one's going to give us a talk show. And then at the time, I've always been very into Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR. Like I love it. Can't get enough. And so I was like, we should start a podcast, but there were no female podcasts really. I mean, there was Sex with Emily, but basically it was Adam Carolla and a bunch of dudes and then crime. And I was like, we should start a podcast. So we just like went around, and then I just said, we're the world's greatest podcast in the first pitch meeting we took, which was at podcast one. We're like, we're the world's greatest podcast. Jac and Becca had never met yet. I just made the
we
deck.
literally met in the meeting. Like we show up for the meeting, and I'm like, hi, I'm Jac. She's like, hi, I'm Becca. And then we go in and we're like, yeah, the podcast is about our mimosa brunches, and we're just like drinking with our girlfriends and like gossiping.
Yeah, they never met.
Oh my God.
I love this.
And you just had a feeling that they would get along and everybody would vibe together.
This is how I go. I just like steamroll life. I was like, we're going to have a podcast, and these are the bitches that are going to do it. And it's going to be the best podcast in the world. And then we just like lived up to that dream. And so, but with friendship, like, I think what makes our podcast great is that the three of us weren't particularly like best friends, and we're still not best friends to this day. So we kind of go off. Jac goes and does her activities. Becca has her people. I have my people, and we have our individual like best friends, and we're not that for each other. Like on Saturdays, we're not like, let's go on the boat. Are we going to Home Goods? Like we do that with other people in our lives. And then we reconvene on the podcast to share about our lives. Are we friends? Of course. We're obviously much closer than we were at that first
Like
meeting.
work wives. That's like what we've sort of become.
Yeah.
I think that I love this. I mean, we could talk about working with friends forever, but I love this idea that like friendships take on all these different forms. And I think some people are like, this is my idea of what friendship is, and I don't have this with everybody. And, you know, does that make my friendships less valuable? No, you know, you can have different things with different people. And just because like, I mean, Ashley and I do socialize a lot together, but we socialize not a lot together. Also, we are best friends, and Ashley's my family, but we don't spend every minute together. So we have integrated lives and separate lives. And I think it's good to take breaks from each other.
Well, it all comes down to boundaries. And that is what has been like a huge thing for us is we have very like strong boundaries of what's appropriate when, well, we've had to teach Keltie when to text and when not to text. Because sometimes she would send like a 12:30 like emergency text about something that's not an emergency. And there's been a lot of those, but for the most part, it's like we just have boundaries with each other, and it really helps us stay good friends while also staying better business partners.
That's great. Yeah, that's great to hear. We did an episode recently on boundaries, and people like went crazy for it. I think just it's an issue a lot of people have, like drawing them, especially with people that are your friends. Like if you don't want to insult your friends and make it awkward, you know.
And boundaries are so difficult.
I think it's one
of the hardest things. Like
I think also like I was observing my life, because I feel like I've hit this point where I've heard about boundaries my whole life. I just don't know anything about them. And every time I attempt the boundary, I realize that I've collected a lot of humans in my life who can't respect a boundary. And I'm like, so this is now on me at 35 to acknowledge like this friend I've had for fucking 20 years. She's amazing and incredible, but like, she's never going to be okay with me setting a boundary, but I'm going to have to be okay with her not being okay with the boundary.
Do you find that your issue, and we did a great episode with Nedra Tawwab, who wrote a book about boundaries, and she divided them up into different categories. Do you find that your biggest problem is setting a boundary with friends versus like work or family or things like that?
I pretty much have zero ability to set boundaries with anything. Like, because also with work, when you're an actor or on Broadway or whatever it is, like you're at the mercy of so many people that you'd be an idiot to set a boundary in the beginning of your career. Like the whole point of the only way you make it in this business is by basically being ready to jump when someone says jump, do that thing, say that thing, do it this way. Like there's no ability to really set boundaries when you're starting out in the business. Like now that I'm a little bit more established, I'm trying, but it's hard. And then with friends, it's like the same thing. So I don't know if it's just being a pleaser. I grew up in Atlanta. I think women in the South are trained to never disappoint other people. And like, if you do, you're a bitch. And that's kind of the end of it. So yeah, I think a little bit of it is the region where I grew up.
Yeah. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years.
You did?
So I like am familiar, but there's things I feel like I didn't fit in with saying certain things, being like, I want to be in charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, not allowed.
Like just kind of things that women aren't like they're supposed to be kind of take a backseat.
I think it's getting easier though. I think our generation feels like it's maybe the last one that's dealing with that residual, like weird misogyny.
So Keltie, do you get insulted when people ask you like to set, like that they have a boundary and they don't want those texts late at night?
No, I love a note.
She takes a note better than anybody else that you would ever meet in your life.
Okay.
It's crazy.
With no resentment and no like feelings hurt. She's just like, okay, note taken. I will do this. And then she'll never do it again.
To the point where you don't have to say to her, don't take this personally, because you know she won't. Like even if you want her to, she's not going to take it personally.
How do you do that? I think that's really like amazing. Like, how do you like hear something from somebody that you love or that you respect and feel like, okay,
you're good at
I'll
that,
take it in
Rayna. I
stride.
take things more, but you're better at it than I am.
I'm great. I take everything in stride. No,
because
incredible.
So I grew up as a dancer, and then really was like kind of a 7, you know, like the talent level was not there, but I'm a very precise person. So when I was a rockette, it was like, I was never the best rockette. I was always the worst rockette in the line, like faking my fucking tap, like you would not believe. But like, I was such a pleasure to be around. Like they basically after every rockette show, if you did 5 a day, they come out with a yellow legal pad and they're like, Keltie, your hand was like this when it needed to be like this, like really fucking crazy, insane, like little details. Right. And you just learn to like, it was 6 years of my life where you just learn to take it and you're like, okay, I'll fix it. Oh, okay, I'll fix it. And so I think that just trained my mind that when I've gone into entertainment as like a human talker or whatever, it's like when someone's like, hey, Keltie, like this just happened on Sunday. So I've been out of my house and I'm kind of like behind on emails, and I decided on Sunday I'm going to make a big cup of tea and then I'm going to work all of Sunday and catch up. And normally I have this thing to respect my partners where I set my emails so that like I can write emails all Sunday, but they don't send till Monday morning. Respect. Right. But I didn't turn it on. So like 8 emails went through like Sunday night at like 5:30. And Becca's like, Keltie, cut it out with the emails. And like, didn't even have to be like, hey girl, like, hey, can you stop email? She was like, cut it out with the emails. And then I just put like a meme that was sorry. And then like, I just went on my way. Like, I don't think Becca hates me.
And then you texted me separately and you go, I know I'm in trouble, but, and then go on to spiral about something. And then in turn make me spiral on a Sunday night where I got no sleep. So that happened literally 2 days ago.
But while Keltie's the one that like she can take a note. Didn't Becca, you don't take feedback? Is that your thing? Are you the one that
I don't welcome feedback? Like I don't want your fucking feedback. I have received a lot of feedback in my life. I've chosen a career where I've literally put myself in a literal spotlight to be picked apart. And I know that's what I put myself out there for. So to a certain extent, I get it. Like that's part of the job. But then I'm like, I'm not going to go seeking out extra feedback from people that don't fucking matter. Yes. My DMs are a terrifying place. Like,
so let's talk about that
place.
Energy. Let's talk about the, like, I'm not as like a well-known person with notoriety. Like if I'm a normal person that doesn't have like a giant platform, how can other people like bring that energy? Cause I love that, you know?
Well, mine comes from weakness because I know that I can't handle the feedback. You know what I mean? Like I know that it's going to send me into a spiral. It's like know thyself. And mine is not really like an empowered, like great thing. It's just, I guess, knowing your limits. That's important.
That's a boundary that you've set with yourself.
It's true. You know, I've been on both sides where I've observed my life and my well-being when I'm receiving feedback unsolicited and when I'm not, and I'm just happier when I'm not. And I do that with friendships. I do that with everything in my life right now. It's like taking stock on what makes you feel good. Like what makes you feel okay? What makes you feel secure? What makes you feel anxious? You get rid of those things unless there's a reason for you to really be anxious. Like don't be a dick that cuts off all your friends just because you're the dick. But it's like a balance of taking stock of what's good and what's bad and, you know, productive and not.
We've said this before on our show. Like, it's not a matter of like someone that can't take criticism, isn't willing to evolve, or, you know, or it's just like, you can't please everybody. And these people in the DMs are all going to have an opinion. And so we always say anybody that's in a creative field, you cannot please everybody. So don't try. So no matter what, you could be at the height of your career. I love J-Lo talks about this. How she's like, the height of my career, people were still telling me I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, I couldn't act. And here I was, this triple threat, like killing it as an A-lister, really. And so we just always say that of like, yeah, we will always welcome, you know, quote unquote criticism from the people that we surround ourselves with, that we look up to and trust. And also sometimes we do get stuff in the emails. It's in a really kind manner and we take note of it and we're like, yeah, all right, we'll take it. You know, it's not an aggressive way. Like we'll stand corrected, but it just, people will flood anybody with any sort of notoriety in the DMs with like their thoughts, and they're mean and nasty, and I don't care.
You're going to receive the message. Like if you did something that you really did, if you really fucked up, you're going to find out other ways. And like, if you really fuck up, you do want to know that. And 100%. So with us, it's the same way. If you get an email from a bunch of listeners with the same, you know, thing that they're upset about or offended by, we absolutely will apologize. We'll fix it. We'll never do it again. So it's like, you don't need to have every single like person weighing in, because it's really not that important.
And then sometimes we get like thoughts about ourselves. And so like multiple times people have said to me or DM'd us that like Keltie looks like Mick Jagger. And then also
Aerosmith.
Oh, sorry. No, Mick Jagger. What's his name?
Steven Tyler.
Yes.
I didn't say that because I think that. I just know the name. Yeah.
You're like, wait, no, it's not Mick Jagger. So many times we get people and they're like, over and over again, they're like, wow, Keltie really looks like Steven Tyler, like a woman version of Steven Tyler. And I'm like, if enough people say it, you're like, wow, there's something to this. So that's like the same as like the bad shit, you know, when people are like, I hate you guys are vapid. I'm like, oh, okay. Like we got 10 emails today. Maybe we are a little vapid. And then like on the 25th email, like you look like Steven Tyler. I was like, well, shit. Like, maybe, do I look like Steven Tyler?
No, my smile does look also a little bit like Steven Tyler's.
We also say the people, like the insult, people always want to complain and say something nasty. You know, think of the thousands of people that like thought how amazing you were that day that didn't send an email.
Yes. And we also always say like hurt people. The kind of person that sits down and writes a nasty message, the kind of girl that like when you walk into like a group of girls and there's one girl that isn't nice to you and she just has to like make you feel stupid, make a comment about you. That person's not happy. Just move on with your day. That goes for every person on the planet. We always joke. We got this email on Christmas morning.
Amazing.
It said that we talk about our stupid live shows too much and we have to stop it. Basically, it was like a very aggressive, like 4 or 5 sentence email, Christmas morning, like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And so we bought the URL stupid live shows and we started selling merch that said it.
And we branded the live shows as stupid live shows.
Yes.
Obviously.
She said, I literally don't care about your stupid live shows. And you know,
that's why we sell I literally don't care merch. You know,
she like uplifted our whole brand. So, you know, we always just try to tell people like if somebody's making you feel bad about yourself, they probably don't like themselves. I would take it with a grain of salt. And it's always very clear somebody that's trying to give you feedback that's positive, that's private, or somebody that's trying to put you on blast and make you feel like an asshole. And like weed those people out of your life. We talked about this with Katie Storino a few weeks ago. Think about how you feel when you're with certain people. And if you feel really shitty, like weed those people out. Maybe you step back from them because life is long. So why are they in our lives?
Quit your podcast. Have you ever been like, this is too much, good much, bye, we're out?
Not in a serious way. I think everybody that's done something in the spotlight for years has had a moment of like, fuck this. It's not worth it, but I really don't actually feel that way. You know what I mean?
We remind ourselves constantly, like all the emails we get, and we won't spend too much time talking about it, but we love our audience. We're really proud of them. We think they're really like smart and sweet and wonderful. And we try not to let one bad comment negate thousands of other really positive, really special messages. But I just wanted to ask Jac, because we didn't get to ask you about like your boundaries and like what you struggle with, if there is anything with the group, friendship wise, with yourself. I didn't want to like zoom past you and not ask.
At this point in my life, I feel like I'm in a really, really good spot. When I was younger in my 20s, I struggled a lot with boundaries. I own my own business since I was 21 years old. I had a clothing line that I started in college.
Oh, wow.
And I was so young when I started it that I hired my best friend. And then I hired these other employees that I became best friends with. And I had absolutely no boundaries with them whatsoever, which was awesome in the beginning until it ends up becoming a problem when people don't respect me, even though I'm their boss. So there was a lot of that when I was younger that I struggled with. And then you get yourself into this like black hole and you're like, how do I get out of this? Because I'm too far intertwined in so many different places in my life. But learning from that, I think I brought a little bit of that to LadyGang, where it's just like, okay, you know, your employees are your employees and they're not your best friend. And you have to have that kind of a separation, or else it ends up being super detrimental in the long run. So
I had to tell Rayna to not invite our accountants to her birthday party. I was like, what are you? Because like we really like our talent, our agent. We've become friends with them. We consider them friends. They're like family, but a little different than the people that manage our money. She was like, I'm going to invite, you know, I was like, what are you? No, you're not. No. And it's like, it's her birthday, but I'm over here like, no, we have to have a line.
She's right. And I thought about it in the reverse. Like if they invited me to their birthday party, I'd be like, why are you doing this?
That's
but
amazing.
We are really close with our agents because we've worked with them for years and there's two of them and they like
hang out with them,
quote unquote discovered us. You know, they were our first agents and they've been our only agents. We love them. They're our age.
And they know like, you know, they know about our dating lives. Like we are friends and we don't think there's really anything wrong with that. They're going to do the best job for us. And if we feel like it gets too comfortable, we'll call them out on it. But the account thing, I was like, I don't know. Like this is, have you guys ever felt like you wanted to just like throw in the towel? Like were you guys getting a lot of when you had the show, was it a lot more like
really the show, but we've had some moments where it's been very tough and like emotionally overwhelming. I think that we're all pretty good at talking each other off the ledge. Like when somebody's spiraling, like the other two, where we're always kind of like in a little bit of a different spot. But if it was just one of us trying to deal with, you know, when shit hits the fan sometimes, as it always does. I was going to say earlier, like even if Mother Teresa had an Instagram or a podcast, like people would be fucking trolling her and shitting on her too. It's just like, it's the nature of the beast, like doing anything.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, we've had those moments, but I think that we've tried to learn and, you know, change certain things within the business to stop it from happening again. So,
yeah.
I mean, if I'll be honest, if I had a trust fund, I would quit today.
It's stressful.
Unfortunately, have to work with you.
Depending on how Turner and Hooch does on Disney Plus, LadyGang might be over. Do you know what I mean?
Like, so should we promote it or not? I can't tell.
Don't promote it because I will be gone so fucking fast. Like I will find my own replacement. Like it will happen. It will be incredible. I'm just kidding. No.
Rayna's sitting here. I can feel her energy. She's like, don't you ever fucking joke like Becca did. Don't do it.
Don't you fucking do that. Don't you ever leave me. I have a question for you guys. Talking about like walking, because people ask, we get a lot of like questions about career advice and people saying like, I'm not happy at this job, but like, I don't know if I should leave. I don't know if I should move. I don't know if I should take the risk. Like, when do you think people should like cut their losses and get the fuck out?
When you have the next offer. I mean, I think everyone hates their job. I think work is work. And yeah, of course, like you guys are like, oh, we kind of love what we do. Well, we love what we do too, but it's still a job. It's not I'm not on a yacht in the Caribbean on a week off, eating a fruit plate. Like it's still a job, you know, that's what I want.
Margarita.
God damn.
Oh my God. You know, like we have really fun jobs. But I think you have to work and you have to have a purpose. And so I love that saying, like, choose your hard, right? So it's like, you get to choose what's hard for you. So if you say you have a great job and you're making a ton of money, but like, it's a terrible culture and like, you just hate working there, like just keep making the money till you find something better, you know what I mean? And make that move, but like choose your hard, because you're going to be, you know, looking for a job and, you know, go by a person, make yourself feel better. If you have a great job and you love so much, but you're not making the money, it's like, then you choose your hard, you know? But I think everyone hates their job a little bit, and working for a living is hard, and that's it. Like there's no euphoria. I mean, utopia.
I had a job that I didn't love, and before I went on my own, and I feel that so much where I was like, I don't love this and I'm not making the money. So I'm like, I can't go treat myself on the weekends because I'm not making any money. And I'm at this job 10 hours a day. And then I'm, you know, just being so overworked and underpaid. I mean, obviously I quit and I went on my own, but that's so true. Like I had that thought of like, this would be better if I could pay my credit card bill. You know what I mean?
If there was
I
like
could
one
deal with
upside to it.
Yeah.
I think calculated risks are important, right? So people ask me like how I became a food blogger before I met Ashley and then we started the podcast. And I left a job at Amazon making a lot of money at a very stable, very huge company. And people ask me like, how did you decide to do that? And first of all, I was fucking miserable. So I was thrilled to leave. I was an idiot for taking the job to begin with. But I was super miserable, but it was also a calculated risk to leave, right? I had another stream of income. I also had money in the bank to pay my rent. So, not being able to pay my rent wouldn't have been an option for me either.
Yeah. Can we talk about your relationships?
How do you get a husband?
Yeah, we were gonna.
Great question.
You've got to date, find somebody that loves you a little bit more.
That is true.
Yeah. That's like the advice from all of our moms is like, you just have to end up with someone who loves you a little bit more than you love them. And sometimes that can be kind of hard to wrap your head around, especially if you're like, I can imagine in New York even harder though, because New York's such like a sexy city to date in, but you have to like go through your fuckboy phase. And then you have to like start dating nice people and then find the right balance of like nice and boring. And then that's your husband.
It doesn't have to be boring.
A little bit boring, Jac.
It's like the famous Oprah interview where she talks about butterflies. Like when you get butterflies,
this I love.
It's
anxiety.
actually like it's an anxiety and it's a feeling of not being safe or secure. So you shouldn't be getting butterflies like that. I mean, in the beginning of any relationship, it's normal. I got them with my husband, but if I was still getting butterflies 5 years in, it's because he's fucking his secretary. You know what I mean?
Like, you're
100% agree.
You're scared he's gonna leave, or you're scared he's fucking texting another girl. Like there is no good sense of.
You should feel like warm, like home, like a warm hug,
Yes.
like not, anxiety. Yeah.
Jac, you won't understand this reference. But in Sex and the City, and Carrie's dating Aiden and she's like, there's no like spark, like nothing is wrong. And that's making me like really anxious. And it's like, oh, you found a spark with this like piece of shit sociopath is cheating on his wife with you.
Yeah.
It's not a spark. It's called feeling unsafe.
Yeah.
It's also, I'm so mad Mr. Big is coming back for this next fucking movie. They should have done all the women out there a service by being like, you were right all along. He was a dirtbag. He is still a dirtbag and he cheated on her and now he's gone. So don't marry the dirtbag.
Like we wanted to kill him. Like we wanted to have him be killed off. And like, we thought that would be such a cool storyline that he dies. And then Carrie is like a widow and she's out on these streets again, like running around looking cute. She's like this hot, like lady in her 50s.
Lisa Rayna haircut. Like
right. Like a hot widow.
God,
like nobody wants him.
I don't want him.
Wait,
I mean, I want him. I want to see what he's up to.
That's her husband.
Oh, they're married.
They're married.
You're so far behind.
That's why we wanted her to like, there's only one option and it's Aiden. Like, you know.
But here's my question. Are you ready for your husbands? You're not. You don't want a husband right now.
I don't really like, I'm also very similar to Ashley. I don't want kids necessarily. And so, and I don't need to get married. I just want to be with somebody that makes me happy. I think that can take a lot of different forms. I've been in love with very different people throughout my whole life. I think that like the person I was madly in love with and engaged to in my mid 20s is not the person I would meet today because he's disgusting and poor.
He got married on Zoom on a Wednesday, like 2 weeks ago.
He got married to somebody else.
On Zoom?
Yeah.
Did you get invited?
No, I thought about like checking.
Wait, this past Wednesday, you can do things.
It was like 2
months
ago.
It was in May.
Yeah, we were like, aren't you guys like vaccinated? Like, get married in person.
Like, have just
like, I feel like they were like, well, you're doing it our way. We're like, do it. You're allowed to do it a regular way.
Was the Zoom under an hour too? Was it an hour?
They got like the notification to extend the time.
You only have 5 minutes left. That'll be $25. And they're like, pass.
Guys, wedding's over. We got to cut the wedding
I
short.
don't think it's necessary, but I find that like the person that like I'm dating today, I wouldn't have necessarily chosen him years ago. He's divorced and he is sober. And I don't know that I would have picked that person today, like 10 years ago, but he's the nicest, best person you could meet. He has a great relationship with everybody in my life. He loves Ashley. He just like is a good person. I don't know that I would have been ready to date somebody like that stable 10 years ago. So I don't know. Are you ready to meet your husband?
I mean, within the year, like I'm just kind of like, I feel like the last single girl sometimes, like, which is another fucking Sex and the City reference, but like, I just feel like I am one of the few of my friends that's not coupled up. I'm really ready for it. I like really want love in my life. Like I want to have intimacy with somebody. It's just not about at all like a marriage situation, or obviously, like I said, I don't want children, but like, yeah, just like intimacy and, but I don't feel now we're, back, we're busy doing stand up. I just got this new dog. Like, I don't feel like much of a void. So there was a point I always talk to Rayna about this where I probably a few months ago, I was like, I just feel my dog passed in January. I just got a new one and I just felt like kind of lonely and just like, like it was still, things were kind of up in the air with the pandemic, or kind of later in the winter. And I was just felt a little low. But I feel like it's turning around, but I would say I'm like ready. I feel like I have a lot of information. I feel like I know myself enough to be a good partner.
And I feel like there's a difference between like
for you.
There's a difference between like a stable ready, which you think, or you feel like you are, versus I'm ready. And you have this kind of not desperate energy, but like an energy of like needing it. And that's where I feel like it never happens. And that's what I had I was in a really, really bad relationship. And after that, I was super fucked up from it for like a year, but I wanted to be in a relationship so bad, but I was putting out all this like frazzled, manic, like fucked up energy. And it just never came to me. And it wasn't until I finally was like, okay, like now I know what I want. And now I know how I am and I don't need it. And that's exactly like when it came along, like out of left field too.
Well, people sense
Jac is leaving out such an important part of the story.
Oh, what is it?
What?
I made her manifest her man.
Oh,
I know you guys are really into manifesting, which I am as well. So I made a man manifest list for Jac and I made her fill it out. Like when I'm around him, I feel like. When I am away from him, I feel like. Here's 3 characteristics he has. Here's what he likes to do on the weekends. And she wrote it out and then she found her love.
And it was crazy because after I had gone through my breakup with this guy that I thought I was going to be with forever, and I was writing down all these qualities of actual good qualities in man, like empathetic and reliable and stable, I was like, he had none of them. He was just really hot and really tall. And that was it.
I love the manifesting. I love the list idea. I mean, also just, it's sometimes like, it can feel a little weird to say things out loud. I'm not a big prayer person, but like I did this was a guy that I dated before the pandemic, but I just was like, I'm really ready to date somebody. I again, like I'm saying now, like I want intimacy and like, I just want to meet somebody I really like. And I actually said it to a friend over brunch and I didn't expect it. He was like, what are you looking for? This guy friend of mine. And I said it. And then I was like, I actually do want that. And then I said it like aloud. And then I said it on a Sunday and then I met this guy on a Monday. Like it was wild. And then we dated and we had a great fun time before the world shut down, but it was like a really crazy timeline of like, all I had to do was like, say it out loud. And then it just kind of happened. It's like opened me up in a weird way, not to be like too woo-woo.
It's not weird. It's the whole thing of like, you attract what you think you deserve. And so if you like say in the world, like, I think I deserve empathy. I think I deserve somebody that's fun, that respects me, that the sex is good. I want to get dick down great. Like you will attract that more in the world. There's a reason why people have patterns and they say, I'm always with these guys that cheat on me. I'm always with these people that aren't nice to me. It's like, because you haven't like said it into the world. Like I deserve something better. And
it's not even saying it. It's, you got to write it down. You got to look at it, you got to like really, and because when you say it, you can say whatever, like words are like, blah, 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 when you make your list and you're like, okay, I only have 3 spots. What do I want on this list? It makes you focus so much that it's like Sunday to Monday. You know what I mean? You meet your guy, he's there, boom, man manifest.
Yeah. Did you guys all have like a fuckboy phase prior to meeting?
Many.
Oh my God.
Multiple.
Oh my God.
I only exclusively dated fuckboys until my boyfriend. Like there was not a single guy that I look back being like, wonder what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like every single one. I'm like, you can burn in fucking hell, dude.
You know what he's doing.
Dating a 21-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We love to hear that because we have a friend that's only ever dated fuckboys. So maybe there's hope for her yet.
No,
probably not. Well, speaking of fuckboys, we're going to wrap up with a signature game. We haven't done this in a while, but we just call it red light, green light. And basically we're going to read you some things that our listeners submitted that they've experienced with a guy. And we'll have you guys say, it's kind of like a red flag or deal breaker, but we just call it red light, green light. Is green light go, red light stop? You can also give it a yellow light. So these are all from our listeners. Do you want to start?
This one makes me laugh because I like dirty talk. Okay. He's into dirty talk, but only in a gentlemanly way. I would like to penetrate you now. Can I taste you, please?
No. That's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, though, isn't it?
Green light. I love it. Polite manners. Very Bridgerton.
I mean,
Mine's
if it,
like-
I'm going to pull out of you now.
Ew. I feel like this could maybe work if he had an accent. Like if it was with an Australian accent, maybe.
It was Brett Tucker.
British.
Yes.
No, British. I'm totally
British.
picturing the Duke from Bridgerton. I would like to penetrate you now. Yeah, I'm into that.
I fucked a guy in London right after we started this podcast, actually. And Ashley flew to Europe to meet me. And I fucked the PR guy on this trip. And he asked me if I would like him to choke me now. And he said it in like a really British, polite accent. And it was very weird for me because I need you to commit to the role.
Yeah.
he
It
was
kind of
asking-
goes against like what you're doing. So there's like, it's kind of awkward.
I feel like if she was into this, it would be a green light, but she's writing in, so she's not into it. So for you, it may be a red light.
Yeah, at least he's talking. You know, maybe we can just
Yeah.
get him to stop being so polite. But then, what if it translates into like regular life, and then he's like being rude to the wait staff? You know, he's like, "You told me to be."
He
Okay.
stopped tipping.
Yeah,
You forgot your birthday.
He told me to be a bad boy.
Yeah.
Okay, this one shook me to my core. He says he doesn't really listen to music.
No.
I need more information. I need to know like in the car, like what do you do in a car?
Are you listening to podcasts instead, or are you just sitting in your silence? What do you do on an airplane? Sit and stare at the seat in front of you?
I'm going to say something very controversial.
Oh my god.
I actually am not a big music listener. It affects my mood too much.
Wow.
So I have to be like, there's only a few occasions that I'm actually enjoying hearing music.
That is so
Okay.
weird.
What are the occasions? Like what do you do in the car?
I
The LadyGang is over.
we're done. I listen to podcasts. I would say 90% of the time I'm in the car, I'm listening to podcasts, or that's where I catch up on phone calls, like calling my sister back, or, you know, so that's really what I do most of the time. Yeah, I'm a psychopath.
That is psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
weird, Becca. It's for sure.
Sorry.
Weird.
No joys in life.
Like Becca is obviously a normal person, so I don't think it's a red light in life. I think you can just like not be that, maybe not in the music. It's a red light for me personally, but I'm like a psycho music person. I make these
Right.
playlists for like, I'm just really like, if I dated a guy that was really into like heavy metal, it just actually would not work. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, or it was just like straight. Like I dated a guy that just listened to like house music in the car. Like no, just like
That's
Don't
more of a
listen to
deal
night music
breaker
in the
than no
morning.
music.
Night music in the
yeah. So
morning.
it actually is like
Work.
more important to me probably than the average person, like a person's musical taste.
Yeah. I like grew up on music. Like music is the basis of basically everything in my life. My boyfriend is a musician, so there is no world where that works in my brain.
Okay. People ask a lot of mom questions usually during this game. So I'm excited to see what you guys think about this. I might need more information. Answered his mom's call right before we hooked up for the first time, and our clothes were already off.
Red light.
Red
No,
light.
What the fuck? Is she dying? Like that's the only, if she's on her, like if she's in hospice, yes.
I need to know
That's it.
why he answered the call.
That's the only, you're totally right. That's the
I
only
need to know
excuse.
how long this conversation was too. Like, were they talking for 30 minutes?
Right.
And
What do
what's
you
the
do?
conversation about? Like, is
Yeah.
it like, how's your day? And you're like, it's okay.
I think she would have specified if the mom was in hospice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this
Yeah,
is
his mom
like
is
a
fine.
regular
written in.
combo.
You would
like,
not have written in because it
oh,
could
that's
have
right.
just been like,
Right. She would have.
You know what
Yeah.
this fucking idiot is probably doing? He probably has been told by like his girlfriends that, you know what, you're going to get a girl if you show the way you treat your mom is the way you're going to treat your girlfriend. So his phone rings, it's his mom, and he's like, wait, this is my moment to like show her what kind of a boyfriend I'm going to be.
He's like, it's happening.
I'm attentive. I answer her calls. I love her so much. Like maybe he was showing off his affection to his mother.
And his
Which there
mom's
is a
like,
line with
you haven't
that,
talked to me
too.
in 5 fucking years.
Yeah, yeah.
the relationship with your guy and their mom is you need a magnifying glass. You need to Nancy Drew this before you get serious in a relationship. The number one thing, do not worry about his phone and his exes on Instagram. Look at the mom and look at their relationship and how they interact, because that
Very
is
true.
the secret sauce
But
of
there's-
the rest of your life.
I've also found something about moms. There's a sliding scale. It's like the hot crazy scale.
Mm.
So I've
Good
been
call.
friends and I couldn't understand. There's guys that I'm friends with who are like obsessed with their mothers. They love them so much. The way they talk about their mothers, you're like, you're going to make the best husband one day. But it's almost too much and they're total fuckboys.
No, this is the thing. We've been wanting to chat about this in the podcast. Maybe we'll like deep dive in it later. It's a real thing. I was talking about with Mary Beth Barone, who is this comedian who's a fuckboy expert. It's a real thing. Like this, if it's seems like too much, they're compensating and they're trying to show that they love women and they respect women. Just normal guys that actually do like love and respect women are going to treat you well. Don't need to go so ham on the love for their mom on their Instagram. Like it always just feels like overcompensating. And then there's a weird thing of like their mom being the only woman that they'll ever like love and respect. Like it's a real thing. If it feels like too much, like it's a little, I wouldn't say total red light, but like proceed with caution.
Yeah. My first husband had a mom that was like she like basically picked everything in his life for him and except me. It didn't work out. But like she was like very an A-type mom, and it was disastrous, you know, because it was like the three of you were in the relationship together. It was like the mom and the first husband and me. And it was like, it was really hard. My husband now, who like one of the things that I was so attracted to is I was like, ooh, I will always be the queen bee. Like you love your mom, but like you've now met your wife and she's on the throne and mom is demoted. We love her and she's amazing and we respect her. But like, if I'm like, we're not going over there on Saturday, we don't go. You know, and that's important to me.
And look how your partner mediates relationships between you and their parents, because you do want to feel like the priority. You want to feel like they're standing up for you and not saying stuff about you behind your back to their parent that makes you look like an asshole. So I would pay attention to that stuff too.
But also you're not trying to compete with his mom. Like that's a thing too, because it gets a little weird if one party is being competitive. You know what I mean? Because
like my mom is with my brother's wife. My mom's so pissed. My brother has sex with somebody who's like not her.
I like it's better
weird.
not. I already
weird.
know I'm fucked. If I have a son, like I'm just going to be so sad and depressing and just desperate for
attention.
It's going to be I feel so bad for like my future son's future wife because she's so fucked.
Talk to Rayna about this. She'll tell you all about it. Okay. He has dreams of being a DJ. He's 37. And also a Taurus,
which is the worst offense of all.
What's wrong with being a Taurus?
Taurus man.
Oh,
we love Taurus women.
Okay, good.
But even, let's just focus on the 37-year-old DJ one.
The DJ part.
Yeah.
I actually had sex with an elder DJ.
A senior DJ?
A senior DJ. I was very young at the time, but his name was Zephyr.
Zephyr
with a Y.
I was working on a cruise ship, so I was very young. I was like 20 or 21.
A cruise ship DJ.
A cruise ship DJ.
Shut up. Fuck off.
Okay,
no,
when you're 21,
actually,
you will fuck anything.
No, and
he's not a DJ that creates his own music. That's just like a DJ that plays the cruise.
No, he was like literally a disc.
Like the way Ashley's a DJ at our shows.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I remember that I used to go to the club on board and he would play that Sade song, like, think I'd leave your side, baby. You know that one? No.
It's on Sex and City. Samantha dances to Richard with it on the roof.
Thank you. So anyway, Zephyr. So this is so interesting. So I was like hooking up with Zephyr for a while. And then he was like, I'm leaving the ship, and was like, can I borrow $1,000?
No.
And he's like, I'll meet you in Miami next week to pay you back. Like he was leaving his job. And I was like considering.
Oh my God.
Did you give him like part of the money?
I didn't give him the money and I never saw him again.
He's like a Nigerian prince. He's like, I just need $1,000.
Just give me your bank account info.
Yeah. It's all misspelled.
It said DJ is not paying his mortgage with his DJ money. No.
Right.
Red light.
Okay. If he has like a really professional job and he's doing this little DJ gig on the side and maybe
that too. I know this really hot veterinarian, and I know him because he put my dog down, and it was awkward for me being like, this man is so hot and this is a low moment. But he's also a DJ, like, but I'm like, he's a doctor, which I'm like, I don't know. That's got to be like a fuckboy matrix right there. Doctor / DJ. But I'm like, I'm not going to knock his DJ hobby. He's literally doctor.
It's a hobby.
I would have sex with Diplo. I think he's hot.
Diplo's super hot.
He's hot.
Diplo.
Although dating a DJ would be my fucking nightmare. Although Although a lot of music people don't listen to music in their own homes because it's their job. So maybe it would be the perfect person.
He's like, I don't really
But
listen
then you
to
would
music.
you'd have to go to their shows.
It's no, I wouldn't.
Until 5 a.m.
I
She
like
could just be in the green room, not even paying attention.
I've been
shopping for,
looking
like,
to
Little
take
House
up
on the Prairie
Adderall. I could do that.
This could be perfect for you.
Little House on the Prairie.
My thing is like, don't DJs go to work at midnight till 4 a.m.? I like to be showered in bed by 8:15.
I would date
this
a
is not going
date-
to work for me.
I date a daytime pool DJ.
Like a Vegas
That's like, yes,
pool
that's
DJ.
where I'd thrive.
Daytime DJ. That's so specific.
They're like, hey, Diplo, will you play this party or whatever? And he's like, is it daytime? Then no.
11
My
a.m.
girlfriend insists. Okay, let's just do two more.
Yeah, I have
Pick
one. So we talk about people's cringy social media all the time. 90% of his Insta is selfies of him.
Oh my God. No.
You go to his thing, it's all selfies. What do you
Not
think?
even if he's a trainer. Like, no. Red
Mhm.
light.
Yeah.
There was a guy that I had matched with on a dating app that every single picture on his social media was the same selfie. It was
Oh,
like
wow.
in the same place in his room, his arms in the same position, different t-shirt, same facial expression.
We know that guy.
That sounds like a boomer. Like
It
that
also-
sounds like if your dad got
It's
an
like Uncle
Instagram, he
Greg,
would just, yeah. Okay, I'll finish with this one. I feel like this is on brand for you guys. Okay, he is a reality show whore, Summer House, All the Real Housewives, Vanderpump, etc.
Like he watches
he-
them.
Like
by
he's like,
like he's having sex with those people. Isn't that?
Oh,
That's
wait.
what I got. That he was like a star fucker.
no,
We know. I fucked one of those guys. I fucked a star fucker that definitely does stuff like that.
Okay, we can
No.
talk about both, but I interpret it that he's
They
just
exist.
really into
Big
those
fan.
shows,
Big
like
fan.
you are.
But I don't find it weird. I guess I find it weird if a guy wants to watch that stuff without me. If I like keep on my man. had
That's
my
what
man.
that's what I think it is. You walk in, he's like, "Babe, I'm in the middle of the Housewives or Vanderpump," or
Summer House is on.
but guys like Summer House. Okay.
My husband, it's the only show I could get him to watch with me on Bravo was Summer House
because
because
there's guys on it.
It's a crowd pleaser, but like,
Mhm.
let's just say that he's just like a Vanderpump stan. He knows all the Real Housewives franchises. He's like Rayna, but a guy.
it's it's hard that's a hard one for me. I don't like to judge people and what they're into, but it's also weird.
I want you to watch it when I'm cooking dinner and it's on the TV, and I want you to be like, Jen Shaw, what the fuck? Is she going to jail? But I don't
yes,
want
she is.
you to watch
I
it.
don't know. I don't actually know that.
To answer your question,
She is.
I actually I like that kind of person. I like somebody who's like in the other room being like, did you see what just
Yeah.
happened? And I'm like, I had to explain to the person I'm dating the other day, like the whole Kim and Kanye drama. And I was like, you don't know about this. You don't know about the Twitter rant. I can't even believe we're dating. This is so embarrassing.
Is there Kim and Kanye drama?
is it new drama?
No, it's from like January.
He just didn't know
Oh.
anything.
Oh, bummer.
But I would
Becca
find
and
it
Jack are
odd
like,
if-
we don't know either. Oh, don't judge us.
No idea. Are they still married?
The only thing I saw
Okay.
recently was like some random blurb about Bradley Cooper's ex dating Kanye. Is that confirmed?
Who's his ex?
Irina.
Irina.
Oh, Irina Shayk.
She's
Um,
hot.
No idea.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing the game and chatting with us. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
We love
I
talking
feel
to
like
you
there's
guys.
a new Girls Got a Gang like summer party that we need
Retreat?
to have.
A retreat, private jet.
We just go. We go on the PJ.
Just the five of us. Yeah.
Oh, PJ, but please don't play music.
No
No
music.
music. Day drink.
Will you guys all be in the same place eventually, or you just kind of
If you'll be there, we'll be there.
okay? We're gonna
You
do
know.
it.
We're gonna we're
Wonderful.
gonna get shows in Austin going. We had to reschedule
Oh,
shows, so
yes.
we'll definitely be there. Maybe that'll be like a
Fun.
fun trip for us all to take together. And I mean, obviously we love shows in LA, so as soon as we can, we'll have that too.
We
Fuck
had some
yeah.
rowdy shows in New York.
We had a
New
girl go to
Yorkers
the
are-
hospital.
Yeah, a girl
Yeah.
went to the hospital. She overdrank.
Oh, I hope she's
Oh,
okay.
no. We
She's fine.
Then we
We
got
did a little,
insurance after that.
we have insurance. We
Sad.
did a PSA at one point of like because girls were just and do you guys know
Ripping
Heather McMahon?
shots.
This was happening with her too.
Yeah, she had to do the
girls were
same.
like. Her and I would chat about it because we're like they're like missing the show. They don't remember the show.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
we would
yeah.
hear like crazy stories of girls throwing up in the bathroom, and we were like, we get it, we've been there, but like we just want you girls to be safe and not puking in the bathroom at the show
Girls
you
Got
paid
a Gang.
tickets for.
Just-
Yeah.
Girls
We
Got
spent
a
a lot of
Gang.
money on this.
Girls Got a
We want
Gang.
to get fun.
glad you
Well,
had fun.
tell everybody where they can. Obviously, your podcast, Lady Gang, is available everywhere that you can get podcasts. Tell everybody where they can find you guys, your website, your Instagrams, everything.
You're so sweet. Thanks for having us on. We're at the Lady Gang, at Becca, at Keltie, at Jac Vanek. New episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. And then if you want to get involved in the newsletter or our Facebook community, everything's on our website, theladygang.com.
Amazing.
Well, we love
Thanks so
this. Thank you,
much.
guys.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. And you guys know where to find us, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. Get tickets to that third Philly show before they sell out. Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram. I'm Ash Hess on Instagram. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. Girls_Gotta Eat on Twitter and youtube.com/girlsgottaeat. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Bye.